What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great day. So today I'm going to be mainly focusing on fixing the lip on my Lexus. I'll explain what happened in a second. So I'm sure you guys can see how low my car is, and yeah, I'm pretty much the only person that drives this. But the other day my dad decided to move it to get it out of the street so the street cleaner can come and sweep this right here. So he ended up driving it around the block. And since he doesn't know how to drive low cars, this ended up happening to my lip. Yeah, I'm not really bummed about it. It's an easy fix. It's just kind of like, it looks a lot worse than it really is. But I guess he went into like a little driveway and all the paint cracked off. So I'm going to be showing you guys step by step how I paint this and how I prep it and how I make it last as long as I do. Because I know there's a lot of people who message me and ask me what kind of paint I use, what kind of primer, what exactly I do, and why my lips last as long as they do. Because I know a lot of people, they barely scrape it and all the paint blows off. Mine, I don't know if you guys can see, but I literally scrape this on every single thing. I want to say at least 20 times a day. Yes, I am experienced at driving low cars, and no matter how much I avoid hitting it, it always seems to hit. That's just kind of the nature of having a slammed car. There's not really anything you can do about it. But like I said, mine holds up pretty good, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to do it. I also get a lot of questions on what the best method is to install this so the paint doesn't crack. And at least what I do is I put the lip on while it's still black, leave it on the car like that, let it mold to the front bumper so it holds the shape. And then once it holds the shape, then I sand it and then I paint it. Since this is a rep lip, unless you get a real lip, it's not going to fit that good, and you're going to have to use some persuasion to get it on there. But like I said, since this is a rep lip, you're going to have to put a lot of force, and that usually ends up cracking the paint. So right here, I have no screws in there. Also, I use screws, not zip ties, because I think the fitment is a lot tighter and just overall better. But like I was saying, this lip is pretty much molded to this front bumper because I've had it on there for a while now. And you can see it's kind of on there, perfect fitment, at least for a rep lip, I should say. With no screws, no nothing holding it in, no fasteners or nothing. And you can see, just to prove it to you guys, on there pretty tight. And now it's off. So that just showed you guys that it kind of needs to be molded to the front bumper in order to fit really good, in my opinion. So right now what I'm going to be doing is trying to flake off as much paint as I possibly can before I start sanding this. You can see there's already a lot. See if I can get a focus. That's already starting to flake. So for those of you who are kind of curious on like if the paint holds up to a lot of flex, I want to say for being like some spray paint, you can see I'm flexing it like all the way. So I'm kind of trying really hard and it's not really cracking. So what I want to say is for just being spray paint, I think it holds up pretty good. But there is, its limit, of course, like everything else. Most of the time your lip should not flex that much unless it kind of breaks and falls off and goes under the car. But if that doesn't happen, I don't see why the paint should really crack off. You might get little chips from it, like scraping really hard and kind of flexing a lot, but that's kind of really unlikely. Now I know you can do like flexible paint like Plasti Dip or something to put on your lip, and that might hold up better than actual paint, but I prefer actual paint because one, it matches the car, and two, I feel like it would last a lot more, especially if it's the front of your car. You drive your car on the freeway, it gets hit with a lot of rocks. I feel like Plasti Dip would probably get just chewed up and start peeling off by itself. I've never really tried that, but if you guys have ever tried that, put it down in the comments. Maybe someone else is trying to see what Plasti Dip would do on a lip. Like I said, my choice of paint is obviously, or not paint, but my choice is definitely paint. I wouldn't want to Plasti Dip it, mainly because of the color. That's my main choice as to why I choose to paint my lips rather than Plasti Dip them. Okay, so I did get it all sanded down. I did it a little bit more rough than I normally do, just because I wanted to see if the paint would stick a little better. I'm just kind of experimenting right now. And then also, I noticed that there's this really big chunk missing out of the lip. And the only way to really fix that is by putting Bondo and kind of shaping it to the body line, not the body line, but this line right here. And I don't know if I want to put Bondo on this because, like I said, this flexes a lot, and I feel like if I did do Bondo, it would just crack that chunk off and it would look worse. So I think I'd rather have a hole in it, even though, yes, I know there's going to be a hole. I'd rather have a hole with paint than a chunk just blown off. So yeah, when you guys see that, don't think, oh, he didn't do his prep work right or anything. It's just because there's a hole in there. And I don't want to buy a new lip because this one is almost perfect besides that right there. I got it cleaned with some alcohol, and now I'm just gonna pretty much spray some light coats of primer. I'm gonna be using white primer because that's what I always use since gray is pretty much white. So I got the first coat on there. I know it looks really blotchy, but I just did it really light just to get it kind of tacked on. Also, something I want to mention, when you guys use any paint or primer that's in a can like this, I'd recommend using it all, because what I've noticed is whenever I use spray paint and I only use, like, let's say half of it, I'm like, oh sweet, I could use the other half for a different project some other day. When I come back the next day, or 2 days from then, or even more, it comes out really like not consistent at all. It's like a spray, and then there's a bunch of like dots that are just like sputtering out. You can see there's a bunch of big drops on there. So that's what I've noticed. So if you guys want the best results, I would highly recommend getting a brand new can and using it all, even if you don't really need to. If it's a little bit more, if you really just need like barely any and the can has a lot left over, then maybe not use it all. But if you're almost there, I would just recommend just spraying it all on your product. Alright guys, so I did get this all primered. Now I'm just going to get some 1000 sandpaper and some water and just wet sand this just to get rid of most of those little, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, like the little tiny bumps. It's actually fairly smooth. There is a few imperfections like this. There's a few right here, but I don't really care about it. This you don't even see. I guess what you do see is this top piece right here. Everything else in the bottom just gets scraped and beat up, so I'm not going to stress on it too much. But like I said, just wet sanded. So I got it all wet sanded. It's now all smooth. It looks like there's clear coat, but that's just water on there. But yeah, now I'm just going to wipe it down, clean it with some acetone, and then we're going to start spraying the spray paint. I've had a few people ask me for the paint code, and there it is. But like I said, any auto parts store has this, just Toyota Silver. This is what it's looking like after about one very light coat and another pretty heavy coat, so 2 coats. It's coming out a lot better than I thought, and I only have 1 can to work with because that's what I had left over. Obviously there is some imperfections, but that's all on the lip. And I'm kind of just doing this half-assed. And I'm mainly doing it just to show you guys kind of the process and what I do, because I know there's, like I said, a lot of questions. And I know there's a few who are going to be like, why are you doing it half-assed? Just do it right the first time and be done with it. But the thing is, I do want to get a new lip. I do want to get different side skirts, so new side skirts. And I do want to get a, it's gonna focus, a new rear lip. So I want to get the whole lip kit. And like I said, I want to get a new front lip. This one is pretty beat up, but I don't want to put a new lip right now and then do the new side skirts and the new rear lip and then the front lip be all beat up. I want to put it all new at the same time. So that's why I'm just repainting this one with what I have laying around at my house. And it's actually coming out pretty good. Alright guys, so the paint is now kind of drying. I did a last cone. I did it pretty heavy. Another thing I also want to mention is when I do the clear, I like to spray the first layer of clear when the paint is still wet. That's why I always do the last coat of paint super heavy. So when the first coat of clear gets on there, it kind of like embeds itself and mixes with the wet paint. I've always done it that way, and I really like the way it comes out. But yeah, it's still pretty wet, so I'm going to quickly hurry up and do a coat of clear. I'm going to do the first one not as light as I did the paint, probably a little heavier, but not as heavy as the last coat I just did. Also guys, check out this sunset. I don't know if it's just me, but I love sunsets. Like, that's a sick picture right there. So there you go. I did the first coat of clear. It's now gonna dry. Alright guys, so I forgot to mention what clear I was using for the lip, and the clear that I was using was this Rust-Oleum 2X clear. This is just what I had laying around. Again, I could use better stuff, but I'm using what I have laying around, and this is temporary. But if you guys want a better solution, I would recommend getting the 2K clear. So that clear is more durable, but it's also more expensive, and I didn't have it handy, just sitting on my shelf. So that's what I used. But I have the lip right here. I did mess up a little. Obviously you can see the prep work isn't the best. There's a run right here, and then let me get a better. You can see that the prep work obviously wasn't the best. Bunch of little net. But now I'm gonna go and install this on the car. Alright guys, so I got the lip on there. Makes the whole car look so much better in my opinion. I also get a lot of questions on how I have it mounted. So it's just one screw right here, another one right here, just to kind of keep this sturdy, and that's it. I know a lot of people like to run double-sided tape up here, but with the kind of wind and the wind force hitting it down, this will never fall off. And if it's tight back here and on the other corner, it's never going to slip and fall off. So I don't use any double-sided tape. I don't use anything under here. I just have 2 screws here and 2 screws on that side. I'll show you guys right there. And those are the 2 screws that it comes with the kit. I didn't use any special screws or anything. It came with 4 screws and I just used them. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys found it useful and I answered all of you guys' questions that you guys have on the lip on the Lexus. If you guys have any more questions on the Lexus or any of my other cars, definitely put it down in the description and I'll either make a video or I'll reply to them, whatever you guys like or whatever you guys think is more useful. But yeah, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out guys.